And then you can call the meeting to order, Ms. Dolores.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Brittany is taking minutes.
We'll have a roll call.
Okay, roll call. Let's see. Stephanie? Can you unmute yourself and say here for the record, please?
Here.
Okay. Dolores?
Here.
Stan?
Here.
Roger?
Here.
Rollin?
Here.
All right, Pam Ashford, excuse absence. Dan O'Connor said he would be here, might be running a little bit late. And Bev, I am not 100% sure on Bev, where she's at. But I know she has family things as well. And I believe that is everyone present and accounted for.
Okay, so we had a couple of minutes. So this is looking for just this board, and give Dan time to get here.
It's recorded, so Dan can watch the recording if he needed to.
Okay.
So we can start with your presentation if you would like.
Sure. Where would you like me to stand?
Mike Maturin, I'm sorry, Mike Maturin is also excused absence. He is in Iosco County today. That was a question asked from Mary Weber. Well, whatever you decide to do. If you do, I'll grab that and I'll turn it in video. Let me know, those who are watching on the Zoom, if this is not good enough for you to see.
Ready, Lenny?
Yep, we're ready. Go ahead.
Okay. Brad Butcher, SIDOC Group, Architects and Engineers out of Gaylord, Michigan. We've been meeting with Lenny for the last couple of months. Some of you we've met before. Lenny, we were asked to take a look at programming and schematic design for proposed senior center / community center for Alcona County. And behind me, never been explained to you, this was a conversation that I had with Lenny a couple of months ago, talking about what the process of programming and schematic really is. And it's, in a nutshell, it's a summary of the kinds of spaces that need to be in such a facility, what their relationship might be to one another. This was completely fictitious 2 months ago. I was just merely spitting out things. But we talked about things that are base requirements, adjacency requirements, that's relationships. Volume of space, ceiling heights, that kind of thing for a gymnasium or office or gathering spaces. Accessibility from both county standpoint, and then from a building standpoint, that's the difference between micro and macro. Proximity, that is proximity within the county for the facility. Utilities and infrastructure, what's available to a particular site for utilities, gas, electric, communications, water, sewer, that kind of thing. And budget and funding. Those were just some quick things that we talked about a couple of months ago. And in the time since, we've met a couple of times. Lenny has prepared his laundry list of items that are important to be included in a community facility. One of them included what is the senior component and what is the community component, and the idea that perhaps this line sort of represented the difference between the two. What if only half of it or portion of the facility got built and another didn't at all, or just got built at a later date? So those were some of the priorities that went into schematic design and programming that we're at right now. A week ago, I think, or a little more than a week ago, we met and went through our first pass. And I'm not sure if that was shared with others, Lenny, but today's version of it's really represent. And
All right, go ahead.
and how it situate itself on a parcel of land. Well, you know that we don't have that parcel defined yet. We have a couple of sites that we've been looking at, but there's a lot more that goes into that than just discussion. So I'm going to present to you today where we're at the moment. I'm going to start. Building at present is large enough that it doesn't fit on one drawing. There's a reason for that, and I'll explain that. But this particular drawing, color-coded, indicates what could be a layout of a portion of the building that includes the senior side and the community side. The senior side includes Commission on Aging spaces, adult daycare, dining and kitchen area, food bank, kids fun zone, miscellaneous offices such as transportation office, groundskeeper office, food services manager, the food bank of Lincoln office, appropriate support spaces such as toilet rooms and storage, the food bank itself, administrative offices here in the lower left, that is indicated by orange color coding here. And then the adult daycare area that we've talked about that includes music room, computer lab, activity space, arts and crafts, reading areas. Again, this center line here depicting what is the difference between a senior facility and a community facility. On the community side, classrooms and training area, fitness and aerobics, and appropriate support spaces, workout space, weight training. The orange here are lockers and restrooms. On the south side, and by the way, this is a corridor or representative of a corridor. Entrance here, or the primary entrance to the building, and a secondary or after hours entrance to the community side of the building. If, let's say at night, only this was open, closed. On the south side, I call it south. According to the north arrow, it's actually east, but at any rate, on the bottom half of this plan includes a business incubator area, conference rooms that support that, the macaca or arts area that includes office and support space, workshops or studios, and a gallery. Then again, support space such as restrooms and storage. And then off the page, because it's earlier, our building would be and a connection. This corridor, if it continued to run north, and it does, at least in this plan, feeds in right here to a gymnasium, full-size basketball court, perimeter walking track on the same floor level, a couple of racquetball courts, and so that big rectangle essentially attaches to the back side of what would be the community and senior facility. Creating a footprint that looks something like that. I'll show you that on the plan or the site plan in a minute. But all these items, good, bad, or indifferent, part of a program developed through communications and conversations with the Commission on Aging to decide what the community of Alcona County needs. Nothing's been identified as we have to have it. It's all sort of we like to have it, and that's where we're at the moment. What does all this translate into? Inclusive of the gymnasium. Oh, let me back up 1 second. This segment of the building, about 19,500 square feet, inclusive of the gymnasium, about another 15,000 or 34,000 square feet space. It includes gymnasium, perimeter track, and the addition of racquetball courts, which was used from the last time we met. Now it's kind of hard to see all this in context, so put a site plan together. Again, a fictitious site. The idea of a parcel of land approximately 9.5 acres. With that's somewhere around 35,000 square feet. Appropriate parking, appropriate service access around the building, parking for after hours or that secondary element for the community side of things, which could include the basketball court. Then some outdoor activity space, which includes a couple of half-court basketball courts, pickleball/tennis, and volleyball. All of things added to the list of things that could be included as part of the site development. That's not a structure, it's just a site. On a parcel of land that might require, as I said earlier, 9.5 acres or so to make all this work. Again, parking, building, service access and drives, and then outdoor. So that's a snapshot of all the things we've been talking about for the last couple of months. Each time we get together, it gets a little more refined, but it's still not a building yet. It's merely kind of a package that contains all these spaces that are on the list of things that have been identified as desired.
Gymnasium, that's covered.
Yes,
What about the walking track around it? Is
This
that
would all
covered
be-
also?
this would all be indoor stores.
It's all indoors.
Yes.
The walking
Yes, ma'am.
track too.
Yes,
Except for the gray stuff, that's gonna be on the outside.
Yeah. this is all external. Question? I know it's a lot to take in.
It has definitely
That's
got.
all.
So, like Brad was saying, that each part, the senior center is primary. So all the additional accoutrements, like the gym, the public access, could be in the future. We are currently reaching out to the partners to help us with the okay, so this is not going to just be on the back of the ultimate goal. We are also working on trying to get funding, grant funding. So, it is a big scope. I know that now adding the exterior stuff, probably adding before you walked up and did 15,000 extra feet, I was like, okay, in my brain, that added to the overall project. So we are trying to make sure that everybody has the opportunity to get the community access things that they're doing. Guys, is this better? The people? I'm trying to find a way so you guys can hear and we don't have an echo.
Can anybody tell me if this is better? Can you hear? Can anybody not hear? Everybody can hear fine? Okay. If you cannot hear now, the video is going to be up right after this meeting on our website. So all you have to do is if you have a question or section or something that was asked, you can always watch the rebroadcast of this to get the information. So, but to the left of the building, or to the left of the project, all this right here, that's what's going to be done. Okay? To the right of the building and the north is community. And we cannot get
the community portion, because we don't have enough stakeholders, then that's going to fall off, and we're just going to build. I would ideally like all of it to be built. If we're going to approach the processes and try to get it all built, you know, without putting all my cards on the table, but we're going to try to get it all done in one fell swoop.
You didn't make say that it's cheaper to do it now and to add on
Yeah.
later.
Go ahead and just do it. And you know, the way federal funding and state funding work, they have to get this money allocated before they don't get it again. So we're trying to make sure. Mayor, I don't know if you might want to disconnect and reconnect if you haven't, but everyone else email or just text that here. So that would be the site. With the addition, we have 35,000. That's with all parts, right?
That's with all parts, Lenny. It doesn't include this square footage, because that's not building. But
Yeah. Okay. We are doing land. We are good with the land that we have. We have 2 sites that have been kind of. We have 3 sites actually. You guys want all your unit sites? Okay. Site number 1 is up here in
Right there, there it says Lincoln.
yeah,
No, this was
that was months ago.
that was my sketch of the county.
Yeah. So basically, our so site number 1 is the DDA would like to also, you know, look at senior living facilities and those kinds of things. We also have been approached to build on the back of the school. We have that option as a possibility. That option there. And we have a third option. I don't want to put that out there just yet, but there's another third option that road. I've yet to confirm and have a meeting with them. We have also expressed interest in us taking 13.5 acres of road in a pretty good spot.
Hey, Lenny,
Yes, ma'am.
we can't hear hardly anything, like every one word, every like sentence or something.
Okay. I'm gonna shut this one down and just go from my laptop.
Which way is north? On your map?
Well, it's pointed to the right.
Can you hear me now? Is it better now?
We have, you know.
Yeah.
Is
Oh,
for the purposes of discussion, it's pointed to the right.
Do you have by chance that on the PDF this information?
I can get it to you. I don't right now.
Okay, that's
I can
fine.
get it to you today.
So, you know, so right now we're in the process of writing grants and soliciting support from public figures, support from community to get this out there. Okay, we are trying to have this financed as a grant or an endowment or some other way than having to put senior center leverage in that. However, we still will have to heat, cool, power, and all the other different things. So a lot of the programs that we're going to be building, like the business incubator, I can tell you this right now, the business incubator is a labor of love. I have never, we've been in talks. I can tell you, no business incubator makes money. It is for the express purposes of helping the community build businesses. We are looking at offering 8 to 10 suites for local entrepreneurs who want to build business. We had also were approached at doing a farm to fork or community kitchen in that business incubator, because we have a lot of individuals who have asked that. That was one of the things I wanted to talk to Brad about, possibly looking at, is combining a suite or two and making a community kitchen, so where people can, you know, convert and make goods, because we are an agricultural community. So that's, you know, one of the things that we were looking at. Having the access to recreation activities. You know, we know Michigan is beautiful weather, and then it's horrible weather. It seems like it's 6 months of winter. Okay. The reason why we can't, like, you know, the school is the school's functions. We're offering something for the community that can have up to 24-hour access, because we have the ability now with that second entrance that we can have a key entry or key fob entry that will allow people to get in. And then that divider line, that's a hard lock. So we can actually lock that off so no one gets senior center access. Okay. And then the green zone is what the seniors are using. They now can just walk through that door and now also access what the community is using. Okay. So we're trying to bring the generations of the younger, the older, to come together as a community. And we want to work on socialization, community health, and actually build a community. And, you know, by having all of this in one spot, I'm tired of going to the Aplex. We can have that here. It's quite possible we can have the same things that we go to other places. I mean, the little town of Tawas has a convention center. We can have that here, you know? So we just have to leverage ourselves as far as what the government is willing to help us with and give us and grant. The money's out there to go ask for it. You know, we just need the community involvement once we start getting closer to breaking ground. They're saying, okay, do we lose the sauna and pick up the community kitchen? Do we ask for, you know, what does the community want more of? Like, hey, I wish we had more of this. Oh, I never thought about that. That's going to be a community conversation as we get further and further on this process. Right now, this is just kind of concepts. Jumping at the bit to say something. Okay, so any questions from you guys or any suggestions of adding additional space? Because I can tell you, I'm just trying to think of everything the senior center is going to need. Like over here, this is our commercial kitchen with a freezer unit and a large pantry. It's on the back of the building because that's where the semi truck access is going to come. Yes, sir. We're not going to sell this building. We want to also turn this building in community access as well. Okay. The reason why we didn't initially put the commercial kitchen over here, because we were going to let this become a commercial kitchen used for the community. Okay. But this building, in order to get funding from the government, it has to be ADA compliant. So if we were to say we're going to turn this into a business incubator and get federal and state funds to pay for it, we would have to make this building ADA compliant. And we can't. It's going to cost more than what it's worth to make it ADA compliant. So I would love to open this up to those people who want to use it, and the community can reinvest it. We'll still have primary access or site ownership, but this would be open to the community to do it. If people want to turn this into office spaces and close it up, you know, we'll have that conversation if somebody wants to come by and use it. But for the most part, all major operations are going to move over here to this, from this site to this site. And then, you know, like I said, we have a workout gym so that, you know, our soccer moms, our football players, our guys who want to come in and work out can come in and work out, you know. And then that's separate. They'll have their own grunting weight training room. Because I can tell you, I've been to gyms where most people don't feel comfortable if you got the guys, big meatheads, you know, we have that zoned off. But you can go in your own little space, get in front of your mirrors and get some weights. But this is also, you know, a nicer, you know, aerobics area for people. You know, we have showers, lockers, a sauna that's going to be here, additional areas, aerobic areas, so where people can do Zumba, you know, We have this fitness area that we can have for dance and different things like that. So we have a lot of good spaces in here. And then we also have, our classroom areas. So let's say, for example, somebody wants to do a dietary workshop. We have a space for that the community can come in and sit and learn about how not to, have high levels of diabetes, or why it's important to do these things over here, And then this access corridor that takes us up into the gym, I can tell you, being able, I'll put it exactly right where it's at. So you're going right up through here, and being able to have 3 walking lanes. And all this is going to do is we're just going to hang a net to block off the basketball court. So basically, we're not putting a walking track above a basketball court. It's like $375,000. It's expensive. So we're just going to hang some big netting around the basketball court to stop the basketballs from traveling into the walking lanes. But this right here is a nice walking lane that you can work out and run around. And on top of this beautiful, indoor stuff, I talked to members of our DNR. We are going to be looking at connecting a couple of trails that are already behind the school, that are already established in Lincoln, into this site. So now people can have running trails, outside trails. This was a late entry that I kind of just thought about. I was like, we have a lot of stuff indoors, but we don't have enough stuff outdoors. A lot of people just want to be able to do pickleball, tennis courts, volleyball, court. It's just going to be sand. It doesn't really cost, just post nets, sand. That's something. Then we can have an outer area pavilion, picnic tables, grills. We're trying to build a community inclusion center, and Lincoln right now is probably the best site. We've had offers from Harrisville, offers from other people, but Lincoln is probably the most centric in our county. That's around most of the things that we're trying to do. Yes, sir.
Are we going to keep the vehicles
Over here,
We didn't show it.
okay, but over here, there's going to be a covered, not a enclosed, but a covered carport that we're going to park all of our vehicles on that. Okay.
Okay.
The stuff that we have over here, is going to be used primarily for storage and overflow. I don't like clutter. We have a lot of clutter in our building. There's just kind of there that can be organized and stuff. The building has an upstairs, which is all the mechanical stuff that's going to be up. So we're going to have mechanical and storage upstairs in the building. So.
Thing from the public on
We are this area in the green here. We have gotten a lot of feedback from individuals who found out that we're going to be doing a senior daycare center. I hate to say a senior day center. Okay, so this area right here is going to be highly used. I can tell you right now, we probably already have maybe 15 individuals that are looking to get into this program once we start. We're going to start this program in this building and grow it to where it's going to now utilize this space. Okay, this spacing right here, we can probably fit easily 20 people, and it's going to have a privacy access. So I talked to Brad about this wall right here. This is going to be a wall, and this is going to be glass. So you're going to be able to see our offices and see us in our offices. But this is going to be privacy because we don't want individuals to know that there are people there. And in this day and age, we have to provide secure access. So when you're coming into the day center, this is going to be a locked access, a private access that you just can't just walk in and talk to the people in the day center. You understand that? And then there'll be, sleeping areas and rest areas and all these different things. So this is the plan for all of that. Now, I know another question is, well, where are the hallways and where are the spacing, where are the doors? Well, this is just the conceptual plan of the building. At any moment, I can say, okay, this isn't gonna happen. Let's cut this out. Okay? But right now, these are the concepts of what we're going for.
Now, one of the things that you just said concerns me, you said that, green area have a lot of door. What happens if the fire starts?
We will have a fire plan for all of that.
All appropriate.
All appropriate
emergency
emergency exits.
Ingress and egress.
So this building will be designed, when I say a locked door, meaning it's not just public access.
Right.
This
Controlled access.
will be controlled access. All of this is controlled access. This is community access.
When I looked at that before, you have a small living room right here beside it.
All that's gone. All that's gone. This is the new. This is the new. Based on the conversations we had the last time, this is the new. Then we'll mark this up, and then he'll do it all over again until we get closer and closer and closer to a finalized project. Everything that you're about to say about those other plans that are up there, we can toss those in the trash because that's gone now. This is new.
We're gonna be able to have a close-up view of this.
Right now, he presented this, and then we can table this, and then at a later time, come back and pick through and say, we don't want this. Right now, this was just a presentation to everybody in the community. This is just a presentation. The board will sit down and go through, and then eventually we'll do a community forum, right? We can't do a community forum right now because of COVID. So it doesn't make any sense to do that right now. When we can, we'll bring a community forum and say, hey, this is where, by that time, he'll have a 3D model or a computer rendering. You know, people can click and move around and put it up on our website. So we'll be able to have all of that. But for right now, this is just a conceptual. Any more? We can move along to the agenda. Anything else? Anybody on the phones? Can y'all hear us now? Good? All right, perfect. All righty. Have to go to a groundbreaking, right?
I'll leave this.
Okay. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll mark it up on that. Yes, I would like a PDF. Thank you.
Hey, Lenny.
Yes, sir.
Just trying to figure out what's your timeline in terms of grant. You know, like how long are you going to chase grants before you decide that may not be an option, and then you have to look at other ways to potentially chase after revenue. And I'm just, you know, because some of these times you can be waiting a long time for federal government to, you know, get back to you and stuff like that.
We plan to submit by August 15th. That's our goal, is to submit our grants. We have 4 grants that we're trying to target. They have a 25% match towards it. So our target goal, well, now it's going to go up. Our target goal was 865,000. With the addition of the 15,000 square feet, I'm sure it's going to add another few hundred thousand to that number. But August 15th is our target to submit. This is not a slam dunk. It is a shot from half court. Okay. So it's not a full court shot, but it's a shot from half court, and it's a possibility. People make half court shots all the time. If you don't believe me, watch any video of Steph Curry. He can hit a 3 from anywhere. So I believe by having all of our ducks in a row, having a business plan, a strategic business plan, this could, you know, we can get 100% financing. We can get 75% financing. This is doable. This is very much doable as a plan. So we're going to put ourselves in the best possible light to do this, to get this plan off the ground. And I welcome anybody in the community, if you're interested in becoming a stakeholder, you know, and wanting to make it a long-term investment, you know, hint, hint, MSU Extension, hint, hint, Michigan Works, Michigan State Police, anybody who wants to increase their presence in this county, by all means, email me and we can work out something.
And just to confirm, you're settling on the Lincoln site at this point, right, in the industrial area?
No, we have 3 sites. We will confirm this probably in the next week or two on the site, because that's where we'll have to submit our grant by we're hoping to have everything ready by August 15th, because it needs to be done, and then we'll know 5 to 7 months if this works.
Then the last question I had, I don't know if Brad's firm is able to do like a video or some type of multimedia thing to be able to help package it a little bit better, maybe for people in the community to be able to understand. Just kind of posing that question, like, so the more of a visual you can present to people, the more apt they are to maybe buy into it if you're able to make it a reality.
We talked about much better building model and rendering. I'd sent Lenny examples of that early on that I think are great tools that help promote this to the community. Again, still at the preliminary level, but people, it's pretty hard to understand site plans and floor plans if you don't look at those every day. So seeing some kind of a 3-dimensional element that represents what kind of container this really is and how much of an asset to the community it'll be, that was our goal. That's the end deliverable for this part of our work.
Yes, sir.
Right? We're not even there yet, but it's certainly something that's we've talked about pre-engineered buildings in the past, which is certainly seems practical for a gymnasium, but maybe not for a 1-story building, for the balance of the building. But we haven't gotten to that point yet. Yeah.
As green as possible, and as well. Once we get out of the conceptual part and get to the actual, this is where electricity boxes and wires and stuff are going to go. We're going to be like, okay, we need energy efficient windows.
Well, I think glass where it ought to be, and no glass where it doesn't need to be. Certainly, it needs to look great to this community. They're spending, a lot of time there. They want it to be a quality space. Some of the community money's going into it. Right. Everyone wants to know that it's an asset, both aesthetically and functionally. And so far, we're working on function and size, and aesthetics come next.
And I'm hoping that this will lead off into the downtown Lincoln. That is going to, because people who are going to be bringing people for dance or going to work out, I'm not going to want to go home and cook dinner. I'm hoping that they'll go like that. We're not too good. And great other businesses that people that want to, grow in that industrial park area. And well, we had originally projected $150 per square feet. And our original assessment for 10,000 square feet at $150 per square foot came out to 3.4 billion. If we had an additional 15,000 square feet, that protection is going to go. Okay, but that's where we were at 12,000 square feet. So, big swing.
The beauty of the design is it could be built in phases.
Yeah.
Senior wing first, followed by community wing, followed by the outdoor improvements.
Mm-hmm.
And site will have a lot to do with it. The more we can take advantage of existing infrastructure, the less cost there ought to be on site. But some of the sites that have been looked at are rolling, and there's that creates other issues in terms of grading and drainage and whatnot, and that ultimately impacts cost as well. But getting those things a little more finalized can help refine the dollars too, or the number.
I have a quick question. It's hard to hear if someone else is already talking. I missed your introduction. Is it Brad?
Yes.
So you're a contractor?
No, I'm an architect.
Architect, okay. So if we do go ahead and build this building, Lenny, would we give local businesses a chance to bid on building? I think that would have a big pull with the community too, if we're getting outside contractors or inside contractors. I can't hear anything.
Can you hear me now? Yes, no, can you hear me? Okay, so our goal is to ask these contractors to hire local labor if possible, and also put down a bid. So if we have local contractors that can handle a project this size, we are going to welcome them to put a bid in, okay? We want them to be, we want quality. I do not want to build this structure and a year from now have leaky roofs, you know, because we're cutting corners because we're trying to give, you know, our cousin a job. That I'm not into that. I want professionalism. I want it to be done right the first time. I want this building to outlive me and my kids. Okay, so I want this to be a generational thing that we are going to be happy with 50 years from now. This building was built in 1945 that we're sitting in, and structurally it's still sound. Okay, so there were some very smart people that built this building back in the 40s. I believe there's some smart people now that can build this, and we'll still be in 21, 25, and this building will still be here, and it'll still be looking great if we take care of it. Sounds good? Any other questions? Okay, I think we're good to move along.
We thank you very much.
Thank you.
for
Thank you,
coming
Brad. I
in.
appreciate you. Those are ours. So they're ours to go mark up and say, we want this, we don't want that. And I don't have a pen. I need a pen. Thank you. Okay, so we're good with that, with the presentations. So you,
Approval or additions to the agenda, do we have any?
so approval of the, anything added to the agenda. I did add 2 additional things from the agenda. We're going to do a food service report, the food bank of Lincoln as well. So we're going to start doing department heads are going to start reporting to the board. So it's important for me, for them to, you know, tell you what's going on. So they're going to start doing that.
Well, that's already done.
Yeah, but
So I would like to, and I don't know where we should put it, talk about opening up the senior center for congregate meals.
okay, we can do that on new business or old business. So we can do that
Okay.
senior site. Okay, so then you would have to ask for a motion
Any
to,
other changes? Anyone like to make any other changes? Yeah, we need a motion to accept the agenda with corrections.
Yep.
Or with the additions.
with the additions. All right, Stan makes the motion, Roger seconds. Any
All in favor?
yeah, ask for a discussion.
Any discussion?
No.
All in favor? Against?
All right, motion passed. Okay,
Okay. Where is the year 2020?
right here in your packet. Packet.
Is there any chance we can get this 2 or 3 days?
It was here.
Well,
It was here.
and I was in here several times, so they told me it was here.
We called everybody.
No, I didn't find out.
Because you live here.
Lenny, I can't hear what anybody else is saying except for you.
Okay. All right, guys, just speak up. I don't have a better way to do this.
The only thing that was Roger seconded.
All right, Roger seconded, and then everybody approved. Everybody voted and approved.
On what?
On the
Accepting- yes.
accepting the agenda. Now we're on the approval
Okay.
June 20 meeting.
I do not have.
About the last 4 pages.
You're in my stack. Yeah, this is my stack.
Oh, I wrote on that top.
I know.
wrote on some of
That's
them.
fine. This is that. All right, there you go. So now the June 20 minutes. Pages because it was a okay. So for those individuals who want the meeting minutes ahead of time, you have to provide us with an email. Does it cost money to put a giant packet like this in the on electronic or to put it in the mail? So if you want that, the packets are ready. You guys can always come by the center and pick them up as well. So we will try to. We'll try to make sure that you guys get that. Sorry if I tilted the camera. Okay, so those had a chance to review the minutes from June 20th.
Does anyone have any questions on the good minutes?
Nope.
Okay,
We will. Do we need a motion to approve the
yes, yes, you do.
I make a motion, we approve the minutes of June 30th, 2020.
All right, so Brittany, there was a motion for it by Roger and seconded by Rollin.
report?
We have the vote.
Yes. All in favor of approving the 2020 meeting minutes? Say aye.
Aye.
Word I use. Disapprove?
Opposed?
Opposed.
Okay, so the June 2020 meeting minutes have been approved.
Now we'll have the finance report.
We're gonna have to circle back to that because that didn't get printed out. I can give you some of the reporting that was given at this from the last time at Stevenson's. Oh, no, yeah, I do. Okay, so for the financial report, we're still on budget. In your packets, you should have portfolio analysis from Edward Jones of our static investments. On page 4 of that report has our total what we made in the last 2 months. So our total portfolio in returns was $22,467.20. That's what we made in the last 2 months with our portfolio. This is more money than we made in 6 years in any of our other money markets or in CDs, but we made that in the last 45 days. So That is very good.
We might not have to ask for grants if we keep this up.
Well, the market is, I had not had to pay attention to the market because I didn't have any big investments, but now being in charge of this budget, I have to keep it up. But the market goes up and down, it fluctuates.
Yeah.
This is set for a 5-year investment track. So we're not, spending big, buying low. This is a stability track with medium risk. Okay. So, but as the market holds at 27 now, we made a little bit more money today because the market's opened up a little bit higher. So November is my big scary month because usually if in the presidential race, the markets kind of fluctuate. So we've told our investors to say, hey, pull back a little bit, don't buy, hold off, and let's see where the market goes. But they are managing our money pretty well. So we have a good investment company that's taking care of that. And so that's our investment reports. I want to also bring in Julie, who's going to give in. Let me go grab her. Okay, so we have Julia Curate, who's going to be giving, who's our food services manager, who's going to be giving a little bit of the food services report because it does tie into our financial reporting as far as the numbers go. Do you have this for everyone?
Let's see.
You're welcome.
Figured that.
Hang on one second, people.
No food bank stuff.
I don't do the food bank.
Food bank is
For
that.
the kitchen, don't you?
Well, but that's,
Well, you didn't have me to go get anything.
Mark,
Okay, let's get this going here.
no, you went back.
All right, Julie, let's get on. If we can. All right, Julie's going to give her report with our budget for the food costs.
Okay, my yearly budget is 55,000.
Hang on one second. Let me. All right, everybody at home should be able to see this, correct? Yes, everybody see this document on your screen? Somebody just said yes, wave ahead. Yeah, okay, so now, go ahead.
Okay, so my yearly budget is $55,200. So far this fiscal year, I've spent $45,556.67, which leaves me $9,642.32 for the rest of this year. My monthly budget is $4,060, and in July so far, I have spent $4,468.99, which leaves me $131.01. So as of yesterday, we have served 943 hot meals, 873 frozen meals, 219 snack lunches for a total of 2,000 total meals. And we have also put away 521 frozen meals to be sent out. We have one new employee this month. That's a meal driver. And we're working on adjusting the budget as needed so we can provide nutritious, tasty meals for the seniors. And I'm in the process of learning everything that the supplementary management program from Gordon's has to offer. And it'll help me with budgeting, ordering, inventory, and recipes. And I'm also trying some different spice blends that contain no MSG versus
We conducted a survey of the people who get our meals, and we said what do you like about them, what you don't like about them, what about the taste, and some of them said, okay, we want a little bit more flavor, we want to add this and add that. So this is some of the feedback that we got. Gordon Food has that cycle menu management that gives us the food option. NIMSCA is the overall person for that, but our subscriptions allows us to go through and edit the menus and change the menus as needed. And it also has, like she mentioned, inventory tracking, recipe curators that still gives you, like, say, for example, if you swap out some fat from this portion, it'll say, well, you got to up this portion so that everything's in balance. So that comes out of the cycle menu. We were spending almost at one time last fiscal $5,500 a month in our budget. So the fact that we've gone through COVID and we have not missed a meal, that's an amazing thing to Julie and your team. You guys have been doing exceptional with that and staying within budget. The food services is one of our largest costs in this building. It's about $200,000 with personnel, vehicles, and meal preparations. And so she's definitely a huge part of our budget. So that's why she's talking right now about our financials, because the food services is very, very important. Do you have any questions for, yes? You guys speak up, Roland. Nobody can hear you.
Ask for a grant for money to buy the food.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Gary.
When's the end of your?
Okay, I gotta go.
The end of our fiscal is September 31st.
Okay, so that means you're looking.
We're still within budget. We're like I said, we're tracking $4,600 is our budget. And that was pre-COVID. So I have not reduced anything before COVID. So we're still at pre-COVID numbers.
I have a question on the hot meal. You was sending 2 hot meals. So how did that number get so much higher than the frozen? Because you send 1 hot on Monday and 2 frozen, and then 1 hot. How it worked out that way, but I went through and added up all for each day, all the hot meals. And that's how it came out.
And you have to take into consideration too, we have some people, they requested more hot, and then we also have congregate participants that are getting home delivered meals as well. So
Right, but that should be, that's included in this 943, right? Anybody that got a home delivered meal, whether it's. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. Why it did that, but when I went through for each day of the month and added up the hot meals we sent out, even though some, weeks we were sending out only, 2 hot meals, but we have enough people, I think, that don't get frozen. That's why we have more people that are hot than. There's a decent amount of people that don't want frozen meals.
the number that jumps out to me is 2,000 meals for the month. That's amazing. And that's not even counting the other programs that we're going to be introducing and talking about that we're doing from the senior center. That's 2,000 meals that we're giving to participants in the community, which is outstanding.
Now this 921 that you put in the freezer, is that? Well, some of those we have sent out, but we made 921 meals this month and frozen. And we sent out so far 838. And some of those in the last month. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Any questions from people on Zoom? No? Okay. All right.
I just want
Okay.
to commend Julie. You know, like I said, I know last 3 or 4 months have been probably a gigantic nightmare, you know, in terms of navigating all this. So job well done in terms of trying to be able to get all this going and keep it consistently moving and, you know, trying to accommodate COVID as well. So thank you, Julie.
Yeah, I'll have lunch. Heavy on the tater tots. I saw tater tots. All right. I'm a totter. Okay, thank you. Okay, so that is all I have for the financial report.
Well, I can kind of throw something together for you real quick.
Oh, I was gonna bring the laptop closer either way. It's up to you. Just so everybody can hear you. Next month, guys, we hope to have a tripod to do all of this stuff.
Start with the county building. Since this thing has begun, we've gone through many phases. Having the building lock, only be able to do things from appointment only, having boxes in there to drop stuff off. We are now open for business, but they're trying to take advantage of the federal money and the furlough stuff and everything else. So now the county building will close, I believe it's 3 from Monday to Thursday, 3:30 on Friday. Had a district health meeting yesterday. It was a very interesting meeting. Some of the statistics I can share from you from Alcona County. We have, according to what I got from Denise yesterday, we have 23 cases of COVID in Alcona County. 23. Yeah, it went up.
Yeah.
And I'm glad because it changed our death rate from 25%. We're down because we only had 1 person die through the whole thing. So we're under 5% now, which that's the way people do statistics. You know, not a whole bunch of people. There are probable cases are 4. Out of those 23 cases, 17 have recovered. And as I said, we've only had 1 death, which kind of, when you take a look at the governor's plan for opening this county, it doesn't make any sense. And I wrote a resolution back in June. I was in Arizona with my daughter. She had the software. I was able to do it. But, you know, pretty much criticized her for the opening plan because Alpena to the north of us has more cases. Iosco to the south of us, they've had 106 cases. They've had 86 recover. And being a small community, and as Lenny once pointed out, Chris Smart, you didn't see all the people following all the rules. So, you know, the thing that always bothers me about this COVID thing, about mask, no mask, all this stuff, you got to have a control case. You know what I'm saying? You have to have something where it's got to be normal. So if this is the case, you know, I'm kind of questioning some of the overbaked stuff. Plus, let me explain to you, because I have a sister-in-law that's visiting up from Florida, works in the medical field, and this was brought up yesterday. The blue paper masks that everybody wears, those are only meant for sterile environments by OSHA, and you can check this out. And they're only good for about 20 minutes worth of wear time. 30 is pushing it. So we kind of got into that yesterday, and I did get District Health, the Dr. Hamed, to acknowledge that the new vaccine trials are containing human embryos or aborted fetuses. So when you, yeah, that's the growth system. So, you know, when people start,
Is that true?
yeah, we acknowledged it. So, you know, when people start objecting to this thing on, on ethical values, because we brought this up and talked about it. Yesterday, I gave them a heads up, I was gonna bring it up a month before. So, you're gonna have to, it's just a whole bunch of things I think people are not getting, and, you can do with whatever you want, but that's been it. And, other than that, I don't have anything more I want to share. Thanks for opening back up and making it part of your meeting. Is there any questions anybody has for the county?
Okay, hearing and seeing none. Anybody online have questions for Gary? Okay. All right. Item on the agenda. Yes, Yvette is on. I can see her.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Yvette.
Okay. So just a couple of quick updates. The direct care worker increase for the Medicaid programs was approved through September 30th. So that would be processed if you have anyone providing CLS. The RFPs were presented at our regional council meeting yesterday and approved, so they will be off to the NEMSCA big board. That is for the fiscal year 2021 annual grants. Just wanted to let you know that we do have personal protective equipment available. If you have
You're cutting out really bad, Yvette.
Oh, can you hear me now?
We're hearing. We're hearing every other word. Can you start over? All we got was direct care worker, and then we started.
So do you have direct care worker additional $2 per hour was extended until September 30th.
Okay.
So that's being processed for the Medicaid programs. We are waiting on ASA for the grant funded programs to see their direction on how to handle that. So we have not heard from them as far as the direction on guidance. So we're waiting for that. The fiscal year 2021 request for proposals was approved through the Regional Advisory Board yesterday. They will now go on to the NEMSCA large board to be approved for fiscal year 2021. And Lori does have some personal protective equipment available, some masks, some gowns, some shoe coverings, sanitizer. So if you have the need, please contact Lori Sauer on that.
Okay.
Did you have any questions?
Yeah, the direct care workers are only, this extra $2 are only for workers who are working for the My Choice or the waiver participants, correct?
Correct. The ones that have gone through. But as I mentioned, we believe the direct care workers in the ASA programs will be getting that, but we are awaiting direction from ASA on how to handle that. And we'll let you know once we hear that.
Okay. And then that would just be the standard rate of reimbursement, or we have to show in personnel that we've raised that rate of income, because that's going to be a little bit different in accounting.
You would have to show that you've paid that to that's a direct pass through. So it would have to show that it went directly to the aides that were working in that program. So that's why we're waiting to see how they're going to handle that. And we will keep you updated on that as soon as it comes through.
Yeah. Well, there's not a lot of time. It's almost August.
Right. Yep.
So by the time you get approval, it'll already be done.
Yeah. But we'll keep you up to date as soon as we know.
Okay. All righty. Any other questions for NIMS? I'm sorry, you need to be leading this meeting. Dolores, go.
Does anyone have any questions for NEMSCA? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, skip that one, and then I'll bring in Deb. No, in-home service report. Brittany, can you connect and do your in-home service report?
Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So my in-home service report is for June. Mine's always behind since we're still in July. So total meals delivered were 2,429 meals. 260 hours of homemaking, 92.25 hours of respite, and 56.5 hours of personal care were provided for June. And then I know Dolores has been asking me about this questionnaire. We did send out about 300 of them. I only received 30 back still. I did this results on the 8th and I still haven't received anything else. So this is still accurate. So 14 people are somewhat satisfied with the meals. 12 are very satisfied. 3 said they were neither satisfied or dissatisfied, and 1 said they were very dissatisfied. Adding an additional meal, 6 would like to see an additional meal on Sundays at 1. 2 would like Saturdays at 9 a.m. 2 would like to see meals on Fridays at noon. And 1 would like Sundays at 11. Not everybody filled out that section, so that's what I had out of the 30. If lunch was offered on Fridays, 11 would like soup, salad, and sandwiches. 7 would like a larger meat and potato style meal. 3 like the current meals we serve, and 3 would like low carb, low calorie options. And then if we had a meal on Sundays, 7 would prefer breakfast or brunch. 6 would like the larger meat and potato style meal. 2 like the current meal. 2 would like soup, salad, and a sandwich. And 2 would prefer the low calorie, low carb meals. That is what I have. Does anybody have any questions?
In the survey also, we are also asking and considering breakfast as a option for those individuals. So now that we have a shuttle bus, that we would offer congregate breakfast. We're still working out that in the new budget for next fiscal. So that's something also that we're looking at, identifying participants who might be interested in breakfast as well.
Where do we stand on having a Saturday and a Friday and a Sunday? Friday, are we gonna try to do it or are we gonna dismiss it?
Right now we're looking at this congregate numbers, like we're looking at all the aggregate data that we have here is not enough. Like, so we have too many. So like we have 6, 2, and 2 and 1. So instead of giving that many options, we're going to do another survey and say, okay, pick one. If you had a choice between a Sunday congregate and breakfast, what would you pick? And then we would have it that way. I would love to do this via doodle poll, but nobody does the internet. So we have to do this in paper. So it's taking a little bit some time, you know, whereas the internet or Facebook or something like that, people can get that information to me instantly. So, but in the next round, we're going to select the most popular choice and say, okay, would you prefer the Sunday meal or would you prefer breakfast? And then give the consumer the option to choose which one of those 2 choices. So that's where we're at with the next.
Well, if we should decide to do this on a Sunday, is our employees gonna get overtime or are they not even gonna wanna do it every Sunday?
Well, that's another thing that we'll talk about, but no, they're not gonna get overtime. We'll staff that with the workers that we have and we'll flex the time. We'll talk with our food service person. Right now, it's just like the other stuff. We're just getting data and engaging the community to see what additional things they're wanting in the congregate meals. So they're asking for better tasting food and more of them. I'd like to, we also talked about offering lunch every day if we have participants that will show up to the site every day for lunches.
We could ask ACCOA how they do, because they have a lunch, a
Well,
noon
I can
meal.
tell you how they do it. I know their numbers, you know.
Do they do good?
No, it's very, very low turnout. For Marianne and they're getting maybe 3 or 4 people that are turning out. Okay, so any other questions for Brittany on the phone or here? No?
No questions. Thank you, Brittany. Okay.
Okay, let me go grab Deb. No, I need to go. I'll grab her.
Enough money. I don't need it. Okay. Don't get me either. Sorry.
Well, hopefully when we open that up.
I don't know if I'm going back. I don't think.
She doesn't want to cook every day.
Huh?
She doesn't want to cook every day.
Yeah.
Your wife?
Need a lot of family good. Yeah, sometimes it's so hot. I don't want to. Yeah, it's too warm. Yeah.
Okay.
There's some ice tea and a sandwich. A lot of peanut butter.
She's coming in or?
She's coming in. She's out in the field, so she'll be there in a second. Okay.
There's extras here, Lee.
I scanned it for people on the recording to see. Give me 2 seconds, everyone. All right, we're ready for you. Can everybody see this report sheet? Yes? I'm just gonna assume yes. Okay, go ahead.
So far in June.
You're gonna have to speak up. Okay, go.
This is a report showing what the USDA and Gordon Foods has delivered to us for our pop-up pantries. So far, we have had 208,000 in July so far. 117,208.
Where are you reading this from?
There's a backside to the
Oh,
video.
okay. Okay. So you're on June, what date?
Well, June, I added them all together. June.
Okay. Okay.
$208,549.29. They delivered in June.
And that's what we gave away, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Alrighty. And then I'm on July 10th. That's where I'm at, the next page.
$38,777.78. I had them all.
Yeah. See.
And then July 17th is 32,784.
Mm-hmm.
And then July 24th, 45,645.86.
For a total.
For a total of 100. For the month of July.
For the month of July. So the numbers that she's given are the total amount that was donated. So the pop-up pantry that happened on July 10 was $38,778. July 17, $32,000. That was the total amount of food given away. July 24 was $45,000 for a total of $117,000. So that people at home can understand these numbers of what we're looking at. So can you just give your name so people know who you are?
Debbie Reed.
And she is the Food Bank of Lincoln coordinator. Any questions? So geared to grand total thus far, we have given out 6,602 cases, and we have
38,900.
And then we have given out a total of $208,549.29 in food since this program began with the USDA program. I don't think I scanned that third page. Let me make sure it's in there.
Debbie, do you get to ask for certain things, or do we take what they give us?
We take what they give us.
Okay.
So that's our grand total right there. Total from the time we started, which is about 19 weeks. I believe we started mid-March, March 13, and we've been running ever since there. So we've given out a total of 200.
That's only for the month.
Oh, that's for the just the month of
Just the
June.
month of June.
Wow. Holy crap. We are rocking. So then now we need to figure out, we'll present that at the next meeting, how much we've given out total from the beginning of this program. I thought 208 was just our grand total. So that's just for June. Wow.
I don't know about beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, I mean, we can find the sheets, but so far for just 2 months of just giving away food, we're over $300,000, 318. So you take 208 and you add 117, 325,000. How much? $757 of food and 41 cents of food that we've given away in 2 months.
We're not even July, another
Yeah.
week of July, and then
So I want to say how outstanding you and your staff and volunteers. Deb has basically she came to us as a volunteer, and pretty much her entire family has basically worked every pop-up pantry pretty much since the beginning. I just said, she's too much of a valuable asset, and we gave her a job, and she's been rocking it out for us. And her family continues every pop-up pantry to be out there. So it's amazing.
they don't have a
They're a big.
They are.
Really
They're a big blessing to this community. I cannot tell you how great it is to not have to worry about this, because I know how much of the headache, because I was doing all of this the first month, and I can tell you it's hard. And now that, I was only doing it for one site. Now I'm asking you to do it for 9 different sites, counting 11 sites. So every week we're asking her to do that. And then she pulled it off last week doing graduation,
Yes.
and changing. So,
So
you guys are rocking. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Possibly maybe ask some of the football players or something to come in anytime they want to help out. That'd be awesome.
A lot of this is a little bit because of COVID. We were getting for a few weeks kids from the National Honor Society, and that stopped because of the mandate from them, not from Dan, but from mandate from them, saying that they didn't want to continue to put the young people at risk. But now things are changing and more fluid. and come back.
Even if they do it for the morning.
Just taking it off the truck.
And it's the same ones every week.
Every week. So what you're saying, we need to buy pizza. No, seriously, I think we should definitely look at reinvesting. Yeah, which is great because I mean that's pretty great that the volunteers are buying food for other volunteers. But I think we have a budget. We can talk about that in either just putting together thank you cards. I definitely want to do something year in. Once we're looking at if school does start, possibly we might put an end to the program because then the school is able to pick up where we are. But if the school continues, we'll look at doing it every other week instead of every week. But myself and Deb will talk about that. But yes, we definitely want to do something nice for our volunteers, especially those who have been here consistently for almost 3.5 months. So that's a lot to ask somebody to give up their time, not just 1 hour, but all day.
Yeah, someone's the all day.
Yep. Yes, Gary.
Sorry, since one of my constituents, but I think it's going.
Yeah, it's doing better, yeah.
I haven't met with them because they don't.
Mitchell is running current.
Yeah.
Yep, it's better.
Good.
They've been coming and getting their own, because I can't give her a time on when we're gonna be there. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because we get like we have yet to fully get a completed Gordon order.
We did
That's
get
fine.
that. We did.
We got one
Yeah,
complete full order from Gordon that wasn't shorted
they made up for, that was the big one that we had.
right after 4th of July. But yeah, we've been shorted at least 65 to 75% every week. You know, so you know that's pretty well that we haven't Deb personally herself and another couple of our employees here cleaned out the pantry that's upstairs. Like we really don't have any food and we have to order more food. But we cleaned out the pantry full of food to give food away. So that's awesome. Thank you, Deb.
Yes. Anybody have any questions? Okay, we'll move on to the
Okay, so I want to talk about we are aggressively going to be moving into a new hiring phase. I have at least 10 jobs that I'm trying to fill. And it is very difficult when people are making more on unemployment than working. So I have tried Indeed, I've tried Monster, I've tried In My Talent. And last night I just said, let's try Facebook. And I got about 11 resumes. So we are hiring for direct care workers. We are hiring for, which will be our transit drivers. We are hiring for clerical staff. So we are looking to bring 8 to 10 employees. I also reached out to Dan and said, hey, any of you graduating seniors who are looking to join the workforce, come create a resume, put it in crayon if you have to, but get us a resume so we can start filling these positions. So he put me in touch with some people, Dan did, and we, like I said, we have a bunch of resumes. So we are going to be aggressively hiring. Now that this last week of benefits was the 25th, and no one's going to get that extra. So we're hoping that we'll get a big rush of people who now want to go back to work. Next, I want to talk briefly on EVV. This is called the Electronic Visit Verification. The state of Michigan, through the Department of Health and Human Services, are going to be requiring the electronic visit verification. And what that is that if I send out a worker to somebody's house, they want that person to sign that that person was there and that be captured either digitally or some other way. And then the next time that person leaves, it will sign off, okay? So they are moving this program, where's my DHS stuff? They're looking to move to this program by the end of 2023, okay? So that means we have a little bit of time before we have to buy some type of software, incorporate some kind of software that has this, but they're looking at moving to this as part of the the federal 21st Century Cures Act, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid Services are requiring states to implement an electronic visit verification system for personal care and home health care services. That's straight from the MDHHS website. Okay, so what is it? I explained it. Electronic visit verification is beneficiary, a client, or participant validation of date, time, location, and type of personal care or home health care services provided. Who? All beneficiaries, clients, participants, providers involved in the personal care or home health care programs. That's us. This is our fee-for-service program. Okay? When? The Cures Act requires states to implement EVV by January 1st, 2020 for personal care services, which is not us, because we don't do personal care services, and January 1st, 2023 from home health care services, which is us. So we have until that January 2023 to kind of get something in the pipeline. I reached out to my senior center. They currently don't offer EVV. The two companies I came back, one quoted us $465 a month for that type of software. And this one is like $325 a month for the software cost. And everything would be hosted. So basically it would be digitally, would be able to create schedules, digitally would be able to communicate with participants. And then that electronic verification capture would happen when the person shows up. We also have the capability that when they do that sign, it's a date capture, it's a location capture based on the person's phone GPS. So I know you're there at that person's house at the time that you sign. You can't say, well, I was there on paper, and that's what they're trying to get away from. They're trying to get away from people like, hey, sign my sheet even though I wasn't there, because caregivers and sometimes people become friends. They're trying to, have a little bit more of accountability. I get it. Is it more of a headache? Absolutely. But this is what's coming down the pipe in the next 2 years. So I would much rather get ahead of it than get run over by it. So this is something that we kind of need to kind of put on our radar. I can continue to shop for best pricing, but this is something that we're going to have to kind of look at introducing is the EVV. Stephanie, are you familiar with the EVV verification? Is Alcona Health Centers doing anything like that?
No, we don't do any home visits or anything, so we don't do anything like that.
Okay, no worries. Okay. Next in the director's report, we have passed our recertification, which was silly because we just started. We had to recertify our adult home health program. So we just passed it. It took about a few weeks of going back and forth with people on furlough. Now we are completely green light to provide services. So it's kind of a race to go nowhere, because right now, a lot of people are afraid to have people in their home, strangers in their homes because of COVID-19, but we are capable of serving Alcona, Alpena, Mount Morenci County, Oscoda County, Iosco County, and if we wanted to, Otsego. But because we don't have a base, the state of Michigan allows us to cover those areas where we can serve. So you look confused. It is a big region, but we have cars and people can drive to Alpena. I go to Alpena all the time, so if we can provide those services, not a lot of agency do it, so it's more so personal providers, and they provide clients, so there is a kind of a need out there for an agency to provide adult home health services. But I don't want to overstretch us too, but I do believe that we need a big sample pool to get the numbers that we're looking for. We're looking at what we need is 30 participants in this program a week, averaging about 20 hours a week to make this program very viable and to start making money towards where we can cover other services. The transportation program is in the final segueing our non-emergency medical transportation program through the state of Michigan is in its final verification. I did submit a contract to them, or just basically some information of what our rates would be. They are about to get back in touch with me this week with their final approval. And they're going to give us a memorandum of understanding, which means that we don't have to go back and forth. They will know our rates, we'll know what we're getting, and then we'll provide the services. As of right now, the person who's in charge of that says that she has about 15 participants that need scheduled rides, and some of those are going to be weekly. She told me about some participants in Alcona County that have to go to NIMSAS for their Narcone injections, back and forth there, and that could be a route that we can run, you know. So we're in the process of developing COVID-19 policies for our transportation process. So we're hopefully to have that up and running by October 1 by next fiscal. Okay, our transportation. The day center program had a little bit of a setback. We are looking to possibly push the start of that, not in October 1, possibly September, possibly November, once we can identify a strong coordinator and some other staff for that. So that kind of pushed back a little bit for that. Going back to our non-emergency medical transportation program. We have a good framework as far as we have the transportation bus. DHS doesn't do shared riders, okay? So they are asking that if they a person needs a handicap accessible vehicle, they're gonna pay for that trip at that particular time. We can't have other people on that, okay? What that does, it sucks our entire bus up for one person, okay? And you can't, well, you get it, well, it's 58 cents a mile plus a $35 fee. And if I'm taking somebody to Ann Arbor at 58 cents a mile, and the way they run is from my base to the person's house, from the person's house to the doctor's office, from the doctor's office to the person's house, from the person's house to my base. And they pay all of that mileage, okay? Yes, it's, I wouldn't say lucrative, but yes, it's advantageous to provide the service. But again, it sucks up our whole bus. So with that said, we need to look at possibly investing in purchasing a handicap van, a handicap accessible van, or a secondary car. We're going to put our Jeep in that fleet, okay? Because that Jeep just sits there. So now that Jeep is a non-ramp vehicle. We can provide people rides. Not everybody is going to need a handicap accessible ramp van, but we do need a third option that has a ramp so it's not taking away our bus. So I have identified a few options. It's about the same pricing. You're looking at about $20,000 to get a handicap accessible bus. So we can talk about this later. I'm open to what the board thinks about that. I know Dan had to leave, so that puts us down a member, so that we're, and Rollin left too, so we don't have enough to actually push a vote. But that I want to put out there to let everybody know that that's something that we need to think about, because, you know, we need to have another option.
Do you think that we're how should I put it? We're thinking about a building. We've got our bus, we've got, and you want another van now. Are we spending a whole lot of money that is going to hurt us in the long run?
Projections, no, because I'm basing our projections off of our current millage, projections off of our fee for services, and looking at it and our direct grant reimbursements. What we have in liquidity alone in our bank, what we made in the last month. Let's just go back to what our financial report I gave you. What we made in just in interest alone paid for that vehicle.
Right.
And we never had to touch anything in savings. Okay? This is a bigger operation that we're trying to offer services to our seniors, because at the end of the day, we are taking taxpayer money and we are trying to provide services for our community. and quality services for our community. And we all know, everyone knows, transportation in Alcona County sucks because we don't have access to transportation. And the companies that get monies from MDOT, which is not us, we don't get any federal monies from Michigan Department of Transportation. All we can do is do what we can do with the monies that we have available, which is offer congregate transportation to people who want to come to the senior center and try to help people get to their doctor's appointment. So those are the only two things I want to try to focus on, because we're not Thunder Bay Transportation. We can't be Thunder Bay Transportation. But I think financially we're in a good position to go make investments. But it is ultimately up to you all reviewing the financials to sit down and say, okay, this is something that's a viable option or not, looking at our budget. You know, everyone should have an idea of what our numbers are and what we had just sitting in savings in the bank. We had over a year of operational budget just there. So, you know, we'll know more by November 3rd, which is the next segue, which is part. But does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, I also have another question. If we do get this, somebody's in a wheelchair and they've taken our bus, then we've got two people that's got a doctor appointment in Alpena that need rides up there. One's at 9 o'clock in the morning and the other's at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Do we take both of those people at the same time? And this 9 o'clock guy has to wait all day for the 4 o'clock, that guy, to get over? Or do we take two trips?
Well, okay, so
Or is that something that's got to be worked out down the road?
that will be worked out down the road for the transition person that will be in charge of this program. However, I'll give you a quick example of that. What we do is before we accept the trip, we know where it's at, what the time the appointment is, and an estimate how long the appointment is going to last. So then we can know that if we can go do another trip in that area. Okay, so, but if we're taking somebody to Ann Arbor, we're not going to be able to come back and to do that. Are we taking somebody to Petoskey? We're not going to be able to do that logistically and get back. But if we're taking somebody to Alpena and we can make another 2 or 3 drops to Alcona Health Center, absolutely. You know, we can, and then come back in time, you know, to pick up that person after their stuff, absolutely. But that's all going to be built. That's all going to be worked out logistically with the transportation person who's going to be in charge of that program.
And Lenny,
Yes.
this is Yvette. I just want to caution you too, when you're putting, you got to watch your HIPAA violations when you have 2 individuals and you're taking them to medical appointments. So I just want to caution you there when you're looking into this.
You broke up. Say it again.
So you will want to be careful if you have 2 participants with medical appointments in your van, as far as the HIPAA laws and privacy for where you are transporting them to.
Yes.
So you'll want to look into those regulations.
That was why what I said, that Medicaid doesn't pay for shared riders.
Correct.
So there wouldn't be that. And so are you just restating what I just said? Yes. They don't pay for shared riders. That was what I started with. So there wouldn't be 2 participants at the exact same time. It would be an empty bus coming back to pick up somebody for a secondary trip. See what I'm saying?
So why did we need a bus that holds 12 people?
Because that's going to be our congregate. We're going to be picking up people for congregate meals. There you go. So
Lenny, are you doing any transports now?
No, we're waiting for the final green light. Hopefully we'll get that this week from DHS.
Will you let me know when you start to transport? Because
yes,
if
ma'am.
Stan's there, Stan knows I have a lot of people that need transportation.
Exactly. So that's also Alcona Health Centers, you know. So this is a very big need, okay? DHS has different guidelines than Alcona Health Centers, which has different guidelines than the people in the community. For DHS, we have to follow a certain rules and regulations for that, okay? So
do we know what a fee is going to be for someone that doesn't have Medicaid?
We are working around that. We're looking at like a $3 if it's in county, you know, transit ride, you know, and if it's over, you know, 20 miles, we're looking at like a 25 cent per mile rate. So I'll have these rate fees out there and I'll be able to get that to you. I just need to finish the DHS part because that's the biggest pain. And then once that clears, I can do everything else.
So if someone has DHS or Medicaid, then DHS and Medicaid will be reimbursing you guys. And if someone doesn't have Medicaid, they'll be paying out of pocket for transport.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And then the rates will be different for seniors versus non-seniors as well. And then, you know, eventually we'll have, you know, general rides where we'll go from like Lincoln to Harrisville to Barton City or some other things like that. We'll look at doing that. But for right now, this is just the basic ride to your doctors and maybe and ride to the senior center. So we're just starting baby steps first for the first 6 months of this program so we can get aggregate numbers to see how much the budget is to run this program. Okay, so we talked about EVV, talked about new hiring. The last thing I want to talk to you guys about is millage. Is that printed out? Okay. Give me 1 second, everyone on the camera here. What's that? It was voted the last time. You voted on it, and then I sent out communication about it being updated. So I just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to see the updated information. Okay. Let me print this. Oh, wait, it's on.
Yeah.
That would be the last little bit there. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again so that everyone can see the document that we are going to be referencing. All right, so the language just says, for the purposes of providing funding to the Alcona County Commission on Aging to improve the quality of life for our seniors, provide education, safety, dignity, independence, home services, operate, maintain, and expand programs, and service and maintain the Alcona Senior Center to Alcona County residents age 60 and older, seniors, shall the limitation on the total amount taxes which may be levied against taxable properties within Alcona County, Michigan, as provided by Section 6, Article 9 of the Michigan Constitution of 1963, be increased up to the amount of 0.825 per thousands of dollars taxable values, or 0.825 mils for a period of 6 years, beginning with December 1st, 2020, levied and extending through the 2025 levy, which shall raise in the first year an estimate of $640,747.51. If approved, this will be our new operational budget. So that would go on the November 3rd ballot. I will be presenting this to the county commissioners on the 5th. And this has already been submitted to Stephanie Eller and the county commissioners for their review. And we'll go through and answer any questions the county might have for that. So I don't know of any other any other millage will be on the November ballot beside ours. I'm not 100% sure. Is Scott's on there? No, Scott's on the fourth one. Scott Rice, the EMS.
EMS is on 911. EMS.
Yeah, veterans are all on the fourth. Yeah. So in a way, it could be good. It could be bad. You know, it depends on how you look at it. I like to be an optimist. You know, right now there's a lot of millages out there, and people can be like, absolutely no, 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 and no. And you know, but we're going to put the message out there after the 4th and show why we are doing these things. We're not just taxing people to be taxing people. We are ultimately trying to serve our community the best way we possibly can. So that's our new projected millage proposal, which would give us $180,000 worth of breathing room. But most of that's already spoken for with the transportation program and the day center eventually when that gets off its feet. So any questions on that? And then I was also asked, Mary, I know you said you wanted to get with us later at a later date. So we have Mary Weber, who requested to talk to us after the August 4th primary election to talk to us about the county millage. So,
Okay.
so that's my report. Anybody else got any questions?
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to building grounds. Fundraising. I don't think there's anything there.
Next fiscal, I really want to beef up our fundraising options. I really think, you know, there's a lot of opportunities out here. I want to try to do some dinners, do some concerts, even if it's open air. I saw a company, I don't know if it's possible, but they got a 25-foot full collapsible movie projector screen, and they did a drive-in movie. That might be something that we could do. Ask Dan if we can use a parking lot and just do like a drive-in movie with the setup. That might be something fun for our community to kind of do. We have a lot of land, you know, and you know.
They do it in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah, and they made a crap. Yeah, all they did was just have a little access, and they just charged, you know, a fee to get in there. No, they did it free.
Yeah, and well, they had, I'm sure.
Yeah, vendors, right? Yeah. See, and that I mean, and those are kind of things outside the box thinking that we can definitely engage. You know, to have vendors come in and do this, even if it's just a drive-through, that we can kind of just do this and just take donations if people are interested in donations.
Yeah, I think that was in Washington.
Right. So
That would be fun.
that would. So I mean, I can go look into that, but I think those kind of ideas take absolutely really nothing other than just the gumption of going to go do it.
Is there anything on personnel?
Basically what I said, we're trying to hire. We had 3 people take advantage of our Medicaid coverage. So not Medicaid, our medical plans. So we had 3 people enroll. Of the other staff chose to opt out. But now that is going to go in force on September 1st instead of August 1st.
And the nominating committee?
We're going to have to look at replacing Bev. I would possibly entertain, I would say, you know, he's still here, and the way he exit, I think he was unclear when I came in, but Dean Geiger was already a board member. You want to reach out to him and see if he would do that, or you want to try to find somebody from the Glenny area.
Be nice to have somebody from the
There's members. I would reach out to the members of Lot Baptist Church. They have been with us in this food pantry since the beginning, and maybe they'd be interested. They have 150 people there that have been, you know, been a part of that church and been putting out food to our community. Maybe somebody from Lot Baptist Church would like to be a part of our our board. So if somebody has the contact with them, that pastor, maybe reaching out to somebody from their body. Yeah, they have a new pastor, so that might be something.
Any old business? And their new business.
New business, you want to talk about site reopening? Okay, oh, let me scan this. Okay, give me a second again, people on the camera, to get this document so where you can see it. I get it, it's confusing. Well, and I get it. And I know we're definitely we have people that are fighting social isolation, you know, so and they want to have community again. I get it. Okay. All right. So I'll explain this chart. This chart comes from the state of Michigan, ACCOA, and their guidelines for reopening. These are not requirements, these are guidelines. And currently Alcona County sits in phase 3. So on this page, so this is reopening programs and services for older adults. Wait, first, let me share my document, guys. Hang on, I forgot to do that. So you guys can see what I see. Okay. So this is the reopening program and services for older adults age 60 and above and vulnerable individuals with underlying health conditions. Currently, we are sitting in phase 3. Case growth is gradually declining. Okay. And then that basically has, it's like what is happening with the disease. What do we need to do to stay safe? Stay at home, same as protocol phase 1. Okay. Service delivery site safety, same protocol as phase 1. Okay. So when we go to the next page, I just scanned the same page. When you go to the next page under phase 3, or did I print you guys out the same page? I think I might have printed you out the same page. They're different. They're different. Well, it's another thing. That's not the same protocol. I gotta find it. Hang on. Yeah. Give me 1 second to find the document. I apologize for that. Yeah. Okay, so it is different. Okay, yeah, it is different. Okay, good. All right. I thought I had printed this correctly, but I just wanted to make sure. Okay. So basically it's saying that is the exact same phase as protocol number 1 is dictating, and that is that we are to shelter in place in protocol 1. So under protocol 1, it is asking us to increase the number, maintain remote virtual service delivery, wellness checks, telephonic assessments. And we're over here, guys, so we can see. Maintain telephonic assessments and contactlessly home delivered meals where possible. If imminent harm or urgent needs to maintain health and safety, use appropriate PPEs, strict social distancing, hygiene best practices, restrict staff travel. Staff at high risk for COVID-19 should not deliver face-to-face services. Congregate meal, this is, so that was our face-to-face protocol. Under congregate services provided to older adults and vulnerability, avoid delivering services in congregate or group settings. Utilize telephonic wellness checks and virtual assessments. Restrict staff travel. So that's basically the stage that we're currently in right now, which is phase 3. And they're asking us to follow phase 1 protocol. So we have yet to progress to phase 4 that says that we are improving. Our county commissioner basically said that other counties have higher counts than ours, so right now we don't have enough votes to vote whether or not, because we lost our quorum, but this is definitely something that we need to get together either by phone or by email to determine and get that information out to the public if we are going to reopen our congregate. We could do a congregate drive-through again, but people have had several months of getting it delivered. I don't know if people will want to come to the site just to get out of the house. That's another option. We can do a congregate drive-through. Some centers have done by reservation only and limited the number of people in the building. And then those that did reopen had cases. I know Roscommon opened has increased number of cases, so they didn't do it. ACCOA did, and then they had to close again because they had a case happen in their facility. So I am leaving this again to the board to decide of what you guys want to do. We can do the discussion, but we can't really do the vote.
Somebody opened up and they only got
Right. Yeah, ACCOA. Ogama. Right.
People, so they're going to back up on Monday.
Right. So.
on Monday, or they
Yeah, on Monday they're closed. They're not all this week, but nothing. Nobody can.
Right. So, I mean, I think I would do reservations first. I wouldn't just open it up. Really, I would want to see who would come so we can prepare specifically the number of people. As you can see, we cut down the number of congregate tables in the lobby to be at half capacity. So, I don't know. It's basically what our comfort level is. And these are just guidelines because nobody wants to go and say this is a hard and fast rule.
Yeah.
They're just suggestions.
I'm wondering if we could get like 10 people, that's what we need. And then another day at 5 o'clock. Or one at 4:30, one at quarter after 4, or quarter to 5.
The more choices you offer people, the less likely they are to take it. I am the firm believer. Options are not just, this is what's going to happen at this time with this many people. I think you'd probably be the best. Yes, Gary.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cause any. You serve the meals out over there, right?
Yeah.
You can open up the upper half and.
Unfortunately, for those able-bodied individuals that can climb the stairs, yes. I am basically upstairs. It's just not handicap compliant.
Well, no, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. Up a little bit, because unfortunately, what I'm finding out from the restaurants, I stopped in the Rose City Cafe after the last month, you know, because they're only doing half capacity stuff. Now, your usual has been here, but if you got people willing to come, maybe you can spread the space, you know, as you said, the able bodies. So you're not putting yourself in the red, you know, you're operating more in a profit.
Yeah, another option is we could do our concrete meals outside in the parking lot. We can set up our tables outside in our parking lot and have our concrete meals out there. You know, that's another thing, and utilizing the upstairs as well. You know, so there's things that we can do. You know, so but like I said, it's based off of the board guidance, what the community is going to want to do.
Is there some way that you can, get the word out to the people that train to get meals to see if they would want to come back?
Yep, we have our robocall system, we have our newsletter system. We are now going to be requesting people give us an email address so we can email blast people to say, hey, this was happening, and we have a Facebook. So there's a way to get it out there. We just need to determine what way we're going to do it. So if it's going to be outside, if it's going to be extending concrete upstairs, if it's going to be by appointments and trying to do 25 congregates in here and have assigned seating, you know, or people who came together could sit together.
I don't mean to interrupt, but one more. Who was prior to the COVID happening? Who was your who were you hitting for
Congregants, anywhere from between 30 to 50 people.
Okay. I mean, that's how. I mean, that sounds like a healthy number.
Yeah, for this county, yeah.
So you know, yeah.
So I mean, like I said, we just have to do it safely. I mean, I'm less leery to do it upstairs because it spreads out more things we have to clean.
Good.
I'm more open to doing it outside, especially on good weather.
Yeah.
You know, we can set it up here in the parking lot right out here, put all our tables out there and be able to social distancing, and with enough air moving, you know, we wouldn't have to worry about being in an enclosed environment.
Yeah.
You know, I've seen yes, that would be the idea, is to put it, we have trays and carts, and then we would be able to do it, you know, have everybody park over there across and then come up to that area there for that. You know, we can work that out if that's something that we can go towards. I can sit down with food services and we can formulate a plan to try to have outside congregate meals. But then what are we asking them to do? Are we asking them to follow social distancing guidelines? Are we asking them to wear masks? These are the policies that we have to put in place so that everybody follows them, you know, and then that one guy who just says, no, heck no, we're going to ask him to leave, you know. So these are the things that we have to say. This is what the board and ACCOA are standing behind. You can, if you can enforce a mask until they seat it, and then until they're seated. Once they're seated, you just like any other restaurants, is once you're seated, you're allowed to take off the mask. Mask back on. Put mask back on. No, because right now we thought ahead of this and we bought all disposable everything. So we're just pitching it and putting it in the trash. I don't want to put our community, our staff at risk. So they're just going to be gloved up and we'll just trash everything. So we'll put giant garbage cans outside and that'd be where we take it.
Well, I kind of like reservation myself and having it here. I'm sorry.
Okay. Hey, yeah, I can't build. Y'all want the Taj Mahal. Take the tent in the backyard, Dolores. She's like, but it isn't a Hilton. We're moving to getting people to come back to the site. Let's just be happy. Well, we're still going to do reservations for outside seating. So that's what I'm kind of getting. Reservation for outside dining for congregants. Nope, outside dining for congregants. The building is still shut off to people.
So you're not even considering.
But we limit it. We limit it by coming in here. We're gonna limit it by saying, okay, we can only have 20 or half capacity. But if we do it outside, we can have 50 people. We wouldn't have to limit it. Because it's an outside venue at that point.
Why not do both? You know, you might have people like Norman, you know, the object is to get people moving back rather than being isolated at home.
Right.
I mean, that's just my thought.
I know. I'm also looking at cleaning. And so, I mean, if we have participants that are, you know, like, okay, if we say we restrict tables sitting inside and then non-restriction outside, then that might be something that we can come up to and try to do. And then reserve the right, if something does happen, to say, holy crap, that didn't work, let's change.
Make it just a learning experience. Yeah.
Hopefully.
Well, it would be a big learning experience. I don't want to experience it. But I do, like I said, I understand people's frustration and confusion because they can go to their local restaurant and eat and they can't come here. But, you know, I am just presenting you with the information. So I will need a vote from the board to proceed with this type of plan. Y'all don't have to formulate the plan. I just need the vote to move in that direction, and we will formulate a plan of action and, you know, countermeasures for COVID and how to sanitize and things like that for that program. Because we don't have enough, we can't vote now, but I think we can do it. We can call you and get your vote and do things like that. We don't have to have a meeting for that policy.
Make a motion that we adjourn.
You're making everything difficult. We would prefer.
I'm not gonna come down, because I'm driving down here by myself. I'm not gonna come down and sit at this table and wait half an hour for my lunch.
Why would you wait half an hour for your lunch? Right. Well, I mean, here.
Nobody talked to me. We always pay cards before.
Well, I mean, if like we did, like the way the tables are set up now, they're set up 2 tables apart, which is 5.5 feet. It's not 6 feet, but it's 5.5 feet of social distancing. You can sit across from Stan. If you choose to sit next to Stan, you are putting yourself at risk. And the senior center has said, respect social distancing. So you can't point at me and say, well, Lenny, I got sick eating at your thing.
Okay, but I'm not gonna be kicked out of here because Jim sits here and I sit here. and we
No, I prefer that when you come in, you wear a mask. If you're sitting down, you take your mask off. If you get up, put the mask back on. That's what I want.
I'm saying, no, if he's sitting there and I sit here, can we still play cards? Or is this something that only goes to come here to eat? No.
Well, that's kind of it, because like here's the thing. I'm not going to give you cards because that's sheer communal. You have to bring your own cards.
Right. And if I
And
do
then
that-
all of a sudden now you let's say you're sick and you're asymptomatic. Now you just got people sick because you're sharing cards. It's only for congregate meals. That is the whole point of this, is to allow congregants, not activities, congregate meals.
Okay.
So that's why I want you guys to consider thinking this out, because we're not bringing it back for people to pay euchre yet. You know, all we're doing is talking about congregate meals. Because if we're going to do that, if we're going to let you play cards, we might just open up the whole thing and see what happens.
Well, hopefully we can do that.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Tell me when you get a vaccine.
the senior center has always followed the schools. And what are the schools saying right now? The school's closed. They're saying no. So the senior center has historically always followed what the schools have done. So we will know by August 26th if the schools are going to reopen. That will definitely play a big role in us, because like I said, we follow the schools. So, and now, we have these guidelines. So
Now can we go home and eat?
a motion has been made by Roger
I'll send it
to
around.
adjourn and has been seconded by Stan Meeting is adjourned at 12:17 p.m. I know, right? We can't even adjourn our meeting. Okay, guys, if you have any questions, thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Next one.